We are what we do every day, and this very much applies to our spending habits and how we manage our money on a daily basis. Quite simply, if you have healthy spending habits, you will put yourself in a much better financial position without feeling like you're depriving yourself. Now, I know money cannot buy everything, but it will give you a lot of leverage, which will allow you to live a life that you enjoy. To give you an example, I used to shop a lot. And because my expenses were so high, I knew that I couldn't lose my job. So what happened was, I was too scared to say no to any work commitments, even when they were not actually in my job role. The overworking eventually led to burnout, which was not good. Whereas now, I feel like I have more options just because I don't overextend myself financially. In this video, I'm going to talk about the 10 poor money habits that everyone should stay away from. Let's start with one of the most common ones, which is living beyond your means. Thanks to social media, we're now constantly being bombarded with pictures of luxury lifestyle. And because of that, it's so easy to get caught up in trying to keep up with others, even if it means maxing out credit cards or dipping into savings. But here's the thing. If you're constantly spending more than you earn, you're essentially digging yourself into a financial hole that's very hard to get out of. Sure, that designer bag or that spontaneous trip might feel amazing in the moment, but the debt, not so much. So tip number 1 is living below your means, saving when you can, and making sure your spending aligns with your income. Money mistake number 2 is not setting financial goals. A lack of financial goals is a huge barrier to building wealth. When you don't have a goal, you tend to spend aimlessly and without a purpose. This is when you buy things that you don't even like that much. In contrast, setting short-term and long-term goals will give you direction and something to work towards. For a long time, my ultimate financial goal has been to achieve financial freedom. Being financially free means I can regain my time to work on what I really feel passionate about, to be available for my family, and to travel and experience the world. This for me is the best luxury money can buy. And because of that, without even trying too hard, my spending habits started to align perfectly with my vision. Whenever I choose not to buy something, I don't feel like I'm depriving myself because I know I'm working towards a very worthy goal. This doesn't mean I don't spend on anything. I'm just very selective and I only buy the things that truly align with my values. So whether it is saving for a home, paying off debts, or planning your retirement, write down your financial goals and break them into actionable steps. Poor money habit number 3 is neglecting financial education. I used to make really bad spending decisions simply because I had no clue about how money worked. Let's be honest, schools don't teach us about money, and I think there's a reason for it. Let me know if you agree with this, but I personally think the reason is because the people in power want to keep as many people as possible in the workforce for as long as possible. Think about it. If we spend everything we make, we'll have no option but to keep working till retirement age, which, by the way, is a number decided by the government and it looks like it's going up by the minute. The truth is, financial literacy is a life skill and we can all benefit from learning about things like managing taxes, budgeting, investing, starting a business, and so on. This is something I've been trying to instill in my little boy as well. He is 9 years old, but I can already see the positive impacts in him. If you are in your 30s, 40s, or 70s, it's never too late to learn about money. There are now so many amazing resources out there that talk about the basics of money, such as podcasts, books, and YouTube channels. I promise you, the more you know, the better decisions you'll make with your money. Money mistake number 4 to stay away from is misusing or ignoring credit. Now, credit can be a powerful tool if you use it wisely. For example, I sometimes pay for a big purchase using the interest-free credit. This allows me to make interest-free payments over 12 months instead of one big payment in lump sum. This means I can put the money into investment or a high-interest savings account. Essentially, I can make my money work for me for as long as possible. So I personally believe in using credit to our advantage. However, the problem comes when we rely on credit cards to fund our lifestyle. Now I know it can be so tempting to just swipe the card and get whatever we want right away, but that is exactly how credit card companies make money. They make it as easy as possible for you to spend, and in exchange, they charge crazy high interest for the service. So if you only make the minimum payment, a small purchase can easily balloon into something way bigger by the time you finish paying it off. So start paying more attention to your credit score, avoid carrying balance, and try to pay off high interest debts as soon as possible. Money habit number 5 to stay away from is not having an emergency fund. Life is unpredictable, and when you're not financially prepared for emergencies, it can really set you back, whether if it's a car repair, a medical expense, or a job loss. Not having an emergency fund means you'll likely have to rely on debts to cover those costs. The thing is, you just never know what life is going to hit you with. For example, you think healthcare is a rather stable career, but during COVID, I had to stop working for several months. So the emergency fund really gave me the peace of mind. Now, a good rule of thumb is to save about 3 to 6 months of your living expenses in an emergency fund. Yes, it will take some time to build, but I promise you, when the rainy day comes, you'll be glad you did. Bad money habit number 6 is failing to invest early. And I get it. Investing can feel so intimidating, especially when you're just getting started. But here's the thing, time really is your best friend when it comes to investing. Thanks to the magic of compounding, the earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow. In the last few years, we've seen shocking inflations. In 2023, the inflation rate in the US was 9.1%, and in Europe, it was as high as 10%. So if you are just leaving your money in a savings account, every dollar you save will have less and less buying power. Now, investing really isn't as scary as it sounds. There are some really amazing books that I highly recommend. In fact, reading these books has been one of the best investments I've ever made for myself. You'll find a list of books down below, and hopefully they will help you start making your money work for you. Money mistake number 7 is ignoring opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is essentially what you give up when you choose one thing over the other. For example, let's say you spend $3,000 on a handbag instead of putting that money into an investment. The opportunity cost here is not just the $3,000 that you spend on the bag, but also the potential profits you would have gained if you had invested that money. This applies to more than just money though. When you choose to spend your time, energy, and resources in one place, it means you're giving up the chance to use those things somewhere else. So the next time you're about to make a financial decision, ask yourself, what's the opportunity cost? Could that money be working harder for you elsewhere? It is a very small mindset shift, but it'll make a big difference in building long-term wealth. The way I see it, opportunity cost is all about choosing your priorities. In fact, I like to apply this concept with everything I buy, whether if it's a big purchase or a fairly inexpensive item. For example, between a new car and investment, I would definitely choose the latter. And between a Louis Vuitton phone case and a selection of good books, let's just say the Louis Vuitton doesn't stand a chance. Money habit number 9 to stay away from is spending just because of FOMO, or the fear of missing out. I want to say FOMO is now more widespread than ever thanks to social media. Essentially, FOMO spending has a lot to do with the desire to keep up or to impress other people. This is when people spend the money they don't have on experiences or material things just because they see others doing it. And FOMO can come from absolutely everything, right? Whether if it's a limited edition Stanley Cup, a new bag, a new car, or a vacation. I used to really struggle with the fear of missing out as well. But one thing that has really helped me is simply recognizing the fact that no one really cares. If I drive a fancy new car today, people might feel envious for a day, but they will quickly move on with their lives. Everyone has their own problems to deal with, so me and my expensive new car are really the last thing they think about. So is their attention worth so much of my time and money? Not really. This might sound a little bit harsh, but it is the reality that I needed to hear. And I'm glad to say I no longer do any shopping just because of FOMO. Money mistake number 10 is not tracking your spendings. So many of us are not fully aware of where our money is going every month. Sure, we know about the big ticket items like rents and mortgages, but it's the small and recurrent everyday expenses that can really hurt our budget over time without us even knowing about it. Think about it. Those morning coffees, spontaneous online shopping sprees, eating out for lunch. It might all seem harmless in the moment, but over weeks and months, those little expenses can really add up. For example, a $4 coffee might feel like nothing, but over the course of a year, it will cost you almost $1,000. So if you're not already tracking your spending, I challenge you to start today. It can feel a little bit tedious at first, but once you get into the habit of it, you'll be surprised by how much clarity and control you gain over your finances. Plus, by cutting back on those untracked expenses, you can start putting more money towards the things that truly align with your values and long-term goals. So those are the 10 money habits that keep people poor. But with a bit of mindfulness, I believe you can make some really impactful changes to your financial life. Let me know in the comments which habit you found the most surprising, or if there's anything you're working to change. That's it from me today. Thank you for being here. Take care, and I will see you soon.